What's up, everyone? This is GKB, the Governor, and I'm joined by my co-host and partner on Gamers Knows Best, xshewulf, and today we want to give our impressions of Titanfall 2 Tech Test number 1. We want to go ahead and talk about what we liked, didn't like about it, so let's go ahead and get into the video. So real quick, if you're new to the channel, we do gaming content from reviews, gaming tech unboxing and reviews, the sexiest damn podcast Tuesday nights, the Console Corner, and we support the community with our community game nights every Saturday. If this sounds awesome to you, please consider subscribing. We really appreciate it. Alright, first things first, this is just a tech test of a pre-alpha build, so we have to take this into consideration before we give our impressions of the game. So I want to go ahead and start off with the cons of Titanfall 2, what we didn't like. I know xshewulf has a lot to say about this, so I'm going to go ahead and let her start, and then we'll go back and forth and have a nice little discussion about what we didn't like.
Okay, so I have to start off right off the bat. When you're creating your character, they limited you to tactical based characters, and I don't agree with that. Where if you want to be a female and you want to have a grappling hook, you can't do that. Or if you want to be a robot and have a sonar blade, you can't do that. You literally have to pick what tactical you want, and whichever character is put with that is who you have to play as. And I find that they took away the customization that was in the first one to be whether you want to be a female or a male. And me being a female personally, when it comes to multiplayer games, I want to be a female character. It's just the way I've always been. Like, campaign's fine, keep whatever, I'll be whatever character. But for this, I don't agree with it.
Yeah, like, to put this in context for people out there, if you played Black Ops 3, you know they have, like, the special characters. Each of them do a specific type. So they're kind of doing that in Titanfall 2 right now. Now, for me, personally, in multiplayer, I could care less. I don't really see the character when I'm playing. I just see the gun, so I just think it's an extension of myself. But I can definitely see where xshewulf is coming from, where she wants to play as a female character.
That's definitely much like Call of Duty Black Ops 3. But, moving on from the tactical aspects, I have to say the pistol thing, like, this just drives me crazy. Like, you either have a pistol or you have a Titan weapon. And, in the first one, you had all three. So if you ran out of, like, your main bullets and stuff like that, you were able to switch to your secondary, which was, like, your smart pistol or whatever you put in there. And then if you were to face the Titan, you would have your Titanfall weapon, your Titan weapon. And, you're able to switch between the three. But now you start off with a Titan weapon. And I don't know if this is just for this tech test, but you have to, like, be level 9 or you have to unlock your pistol. But then if you want your pistol, you lose your Titan weapon. And it's another thing that just irks me a lot.
Especially, like, when you're a pilot, you're at a disadvantage from, like, the Titans and stuff like that. And I could definitely see if you're running out and you don't have either a Titan weapon or a pistol, you're at a disadvantage to everyone else. So yeah, I don't really understand that as well. But I wanted to go ahead and touch on the speed. I think it's much slower than the original game, and they reduce the speed when you get hit, which is kind of weird as well. I don't know why we need to reduce the speed after you're getting attacked, because you try and get away, you try and jump, you have the boost and all that stuff. That's the whole point of it. So it seems like when you get hit, they just want you to die and not try and escape and come around and help your team again.
Well, especially if, say, you're stuck between, like, say 3 or 4 of them, you can't get out as fast. Like, you're literally, like, walking, so the chances are one of them's gonna get you because you're just not able to get out of that situation. And they just kind of, even the boosting and stuff, when you're trying to, like, climb up the buildings and stuff, it just doesn't flow as nice as it used to. It almost feels like you have a jetpack on and you're just, like, boost up, and then climb up. It doesn't feel as much of a flow as it used to.
Yeah, it's kind of really floaty and stuff too. I don't understand what they're doing there. But I wanted to go into a rodeo because I know we both have big issues with the rodeo on the Titans. I personally think it's terrible. You pull out a pack, like this battery pack out of Titan, you throw a grenade in, and then you're kicked off the Titan. And like I said before, just a little earlier, you're already at a disadvantage as being a pilot against a Titan. So the reason they kick you off just to get the Titan to turn around and punch you and whatever, or to try and get back on, is just really odd. You should be able to stay on there shoot the Titan, try and destroy it, have the person either get out and try and take you off his Titan, or have another Titan on their team to come and like attack you and knock you off. It was so balanced in the first game. I don't know why they changed it to this now.
Well, especially when, if there's a pilot on the roof, they're shooting you as well. And then, of course, if there's another Titan that's close by, they're able to step on you or whatever when you're thrown off. And then, of course, if you did all this hard work, because it's not just one grenade that does the damage, you literally have to jump up several times just to actually throw a few grenades in to do any damage. And by that time, someone else could jump on at the last minute and take your kill, and you're pretty much screwed. Now, when you're playing with your friends, okay, that doesn't matter. But when you're playing with just random people, that's going to make a difference to you when you're trying to get these kills. And then to top it off, if you don't have the grappling hook, because I do say, that does give you some advantage when trying to, get back onto a Titan. If you don't have that, you're jumping and you have a higher chance of being shot or stepped on or even punched.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I want to touch on like Titan customizability or the lack thereof real fast. And I wanted to see what your opinion is on this. They took it away, which I don't understand why they did this. They did much like you were saying about the pilots. You're given a set of Titans. They each have their own abilities, and you can't change that. And for instance, I wanted to talk about like Scorch, for instance. He's the big ogre Titan. He's really slow. I don't particularly like the slower Titans. Yeah, they have more armor and all that stuff, and I understand that. I like a little bit faster or more in the middle Titan, and I would have liked to have had like the Scorch abilities on that Titan. So I'm not sure why they're doing that. Again, I think it's a step backwards and not really a step forwards kind of thing. What did you think about it?
Well, when it comes to the Titans, I find they feel a bit weaker to top it off. Like, they die so much quicker now. And with having these abilities, they take some time just to be able to get their special abilities. Like, even though it was cool that they added that in there, I do agree that the customization and limitation to them definitely was taken back. And I was really disappointed because, people do like the other Titans and like the variety of what they can have, but they're just taking that stuff away.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just a really odd thing that they're doing. But again, this is just a tech test and all that stuff. So, I don't know. Likely it probably won't change, but we'll see. But I wanted to touch on the party system and that stuff right now, because this tech test, and like I said before, this is just a tech test. This is probably why we're having so much issues, but the party system right now is completely broken. It, in my opinion, needs a complete overhaul, and I hope the stuff that they have in there right now is gone and they put something new in place. What did you think about the party system?
It is definitely broken. Again, people are saying this is an early build from June, so okay, we can give some leeway. Like, even the UI, oh my god, I do not hope that is their UI, because that is the ugliest freaking setup ever. Like, it's just straight up words, and then you have this big network thing at the bottom. Like, it's so unappealing, and I really hope that this is just for this tech test. I can leeway that, but yeah. It's trying to like add your friends and stuff. When it works, it's neat.
Yeah.
But the fact that when you join, you get to play a game, but you don't stay in the party. Right. So I don't know if that's just broken for this tech test.
No, I think it's definitely broken, because like we've tweeted out to the devs and stuff, and they said, there clearly is some issues and they're working on them as fast as they possibly can. So we had like many game sessions where people would click invite friends and it just wouldn't do anything, and for some people it would work every time. The network thing, I think, is a cool idea at its core, but simply isn't working for people in the UK. If they're playing with you in the US, we had issues where they were grayed out and they couldn't even see to join the match, which is completely frustrating. And you in a co-op multiplayer game, that's where it's at. Like, playing with your friends, like, that has to work. There's no leeway in that at all. It has to work.
And then having to like actually back out once the match is finished just to try to re-add everybody, it's just a hassle. It's like, these are things that need to be fixed, even for a tech test, even for something like this. If you want everyone to enjoy it, or even stress out your systems, you need to have this stuff working, because this is what's going to determine whether or not these players actually enjoy this game, because they want to play with their friends.
Mm-hmm. Like, my overall feeling of the game right now, in my opinion, has taken a big step backwards. I think the game at this point feels too much like Call of Duty than it does Titanfall in the first game. And I know there's a subset of players out there that haven't played the first Titanfall and are playing the second one for their first time. But if you go and play the first one and play this one, you're going to see a completely different game. And I think that's a real shame. I think we were all just asking for a campaign, and they went and just changed things that I thought weren't broken to begin with. What is your final thoughts before we go ahead and move on to the pros?
My final thoughts is pretty much like you. You know, they should have just kept the base game of the first Titanfall, added a campaign, added some new Titans like they did, add some new maps, and we would have been happy. It would have been great, but they didn't. They just, it's almost like they ripped out the core and just gave it a shell.
All right, so let's go ahead and move on. We've already talked about the bad stuff, and that's kind of what I wanted to do in this video. I wanted to get the bad stuff out of the way and end this video on a good note. So let's get into the stuff that we thought was good for Titanfall 2. I let Shewulf go first last time. I'm going to go ahead and go first this time. It excels in the first game, and in this game, I think, is the gunplay. The gunplay is spot on to me. I enjoyed the hit detection. They did a lot of work in that, and it does show. It's much better than the first game, in my opinion. What did you think about the gunplay?
This is almost kind of a pro for me, or a con, sorry, because to me personally, like when it came to the gun stuff, I didn't like how you had to level your gun, and that made it better than, everybody else's. I didn't really like that, but I do like, the looks of the guns and the style of guns that were given, and I do find they're like, they do feel comfortable when shooting. Like it is, when you're aiming and stuff like that is good. But again, it's tech test, so there's gonna be some things that are kind of off, that feel a little off. But the the guns have been improved from the first one. I do give it that. One of my pros, truthfully, is the variety of the new Titans. Like, even though we don't get to actually play with a lot of them, the fact that, they do have like the cool, like, scorching thing that comes out of them, or they throw like the barrel on the ground of oil and you can light it on fire. I did like that they added like little things like that to your Titan.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree too. Like, I enjoy that part of it with the Titans. They have their own unique feel. But I would like to have the choice between, a Titan and their abilities. But yeah, I did really enjoy that part of it. I also like that we're on the Titans, is that you really have to earn your Titan with, kills and stuff that you're doing in the game. I think that's awesome. I didn't like how it was in the first game, where you just waited, and then everybody just waited until they all had a Titan, dropped them all, and then, just steamrolled the other team. This way is much more balanced, in my opinion.
Oh, I definitely agree. They have to work on just a little bit of the timing. I think it takes a little too long, but I do like you have to earn it. I do enjoy the fact that, someone who doesn't care to like actually go shoot people can just sit in a corner in the first one and, they get their Titan. This one, you actually have to go kill something and earn that Titan. And that I agree with you. That was a great thing to add.
Yeah, I want to go back to weapons real quick. I know you were talking about like some of the new stuff, and I agree. I think the new weapons feel great, and they feel like they belong in the Titanfall universe. They don't feel like some crazy energy weapons or something like that. They do have energy weapons in here, but they feel like they belong in this universe, and that's kind of nice. It's not jarring or anything like that.
Yeah, they're not overpowered either. Like the sense of them is, like any other weapon that should be there, and I enjoy that aspect of it. They're not like, if it's a laser beam, it's one quick shot and you're done. Now the sniper rifles, I do have to say, they definitely give that great feel of what a sniper rifle should be. I know some people have been complaining about the fact of the power of the snipers, but in reality, when a sniper gets you, you're dead. Yeah. So that one shot kill is perfect. Now,
but you still have to be accurate for that to happen, though. It's not like you could just hit them anywhere and they die. So
Exactly. That was actually the point I was just about to get to is, I was playing with the snipers and I missed a good few times and then I had to reload and then try to aim down again. You have to aim. So it's not like this gun is overpowered. You actually have to hit that mark to get that one-shot kill. And I enjoyed that. I liked how they balanced that gun out.
Yeah. Let's talk about multiplayer maps real quick. I think they look way better than they do in Titanfall 1. Some people may beg to differ. They're kind of like, oh, it looks just like Titanfall 1. But for me, it's part of the universe, much like Halo. Like, everything looks like that belongs in Halo. So for me, I think they looked awesome. I like the greater detail and the textures and the foliage. Just like so much more detail going on in these maps, and it makes it really nice.
I definitely agree. Like, especially, the open world, how you actually see, like, in the background and stuff like that, you see, like, the world's been destructive and everything like that, which, again, like you said, this flows into that universe. That's what these maps are supposed to be. But I like how they added more bushes and stuff where the pilots, if you're not in a building or on top of a building, you can actually hide in bushes and stuff like that away from like the Titans and stuff, so it kind of gives you a little more variety of a pilot when you're on the ground.
Yeah, so I know you touched on this earlier with the UI and stuff and how you kind of didn't like it. But for me, I think the updated UI in most of the game looks really nice, and it's really simple, and it kind of just gives you what you need. There are some points where I can understand where you're coming from. It's just like a wall of text in some areas, and that's probably more in the network part than anywhere else. But I do dig the new UI, even like when you're playing the game, like in the Titans and all that kind of stuff. I think it's really nice and a nice touch to it.
Oh, I didn't mean it from like the whole thing in general. I only meant like when you're in the multiplayer screen, like before actually loading into the game, it was very blah. But in the game, like when you're actually in the game, I like how they actually took like the scoreboard and actually put it to the side. And, I like the simplicity of the things that they added so you don't have like all these big bubbles all over the place. And there's definitely, a lot of things that I do enjoy about the UI inside the game. It was more or less like the main screen before you even join the game.
The other thing I wanted to talk about too is, we got some new game modes for this, and I wanted to talk about those. Like, I thought overall, I think the game modes are a lot of fun. I really enjoyed Bounty. With each kill, you get a certain amount of money, and to win the game, you have to fill up your bank before the other team or be higher before the time runs out. I thought that was really neat and an interesting twist to gameplay here. What did you think of the game modes?
I definitely agree. They brought something different than just the standard like domination and stuff. Like they did have that one as well, but I do like how there's like something different, kind of like how Doom brought the freezer tag and stuff like that. There is still those unique ones. For the tech test personally, though, I think they should have added just a standard attrition. I don't like the pilot versus pilot, though. I think that's too much like Call of Duty.
Yeah, I mean, I get that, and I see a lot of that on social media too, where they don't like the pilot versus pilot. But for me, it's a nice change of pace where we're not like getting destroyed by Titans all the time, and it's just you get to go out there and figure out who has the best gunplay, and all that kind of stuff. So I do enjoy that because I like the competitive part of it. But I totally see where you're coming from there.
Well, I guess with that aspect of it, saying it that way, then yeah, it definitely makes a lot more sense where you can just it just doesn't feel like Titanfall when it comes to that point. But I guess just adding
totally
that mode, it could just be me.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with that. It doesn't feel like, it feels more like COD when there's no Titans and stuff in there for sure.
But I think that comes down to the slowness too, that you said earlier.
Yeah.
Some of the pilot perks that they added, like the grappling hook and stuff like that. I love that they, added a little more for the pilots themselves to have than just, like just a sonar or, the cloaking and stuff like that.
Yeah. There's some stuff too. We didn't talk on the cons and stuff like that too, is because, there is balancing issues, but that's, called for in this kind of stuff. That's what they're doing these tests for, is to work on that balance stuff. And the only way they can do that is put it out to a bunch of us, let us play it and see what's OP and not. So, there's so much stuff talking about like the sonar and all that kind of stuff. We got to give them time to go ahead and finish and balance that kind of stuff out. But yeah, I do like the grappling hook edition. I think it's really cool. It works on momentum and your jump buttons, so you can get around a lot faster and hook on people and Titans. I think that's really cool. I also like the addition of the slide mechanic. I think that works really, really well as you slide, jump, and boost and stuff like that. So and it works smooth. So
it does, but I think you slide a little too long.
yeah, you kind of stay in a slide until you like jump out of it and stuff. It's kind of maybe a little broken, but I'm sure they'll work on it. So what is your final thoughts before we go ahead and get out of here?
My final thoughts when it comes to Titanfall 2 is this is still a game that, is in my heart, and I'm always going to want to play it. It is a tech test, so, I'm still giving it a chance. I'm still looking forward to this game.
Yeah, I'm much the same. Like, we can't base everything on the tech test because we just don't know what the final game's going to have. Who knows when they give us everything, it might play better, they might speed up things, they might fix things, who knows. But as of right now, we're kind of, I know we sound a little bit down on this game right now, and that's just because maybe it's a little too jarring for us from the first game. I didn't think they needed to change that much, honestly. But yeah, I'm still a big Titanfall fan. I enjoyed parts of it. I didn't like other parts of it, and that's to be expected. But I'm definitely still going to pick up the game and try it out on day one. All right, with that being said, that is it, everyone. This is GKB and
She-Wolf.
From Gamers Knows Best. We hope you liked our impressions of Titanfall 2. If you did, please drop a Titan on that like button. If you want to see more videos like this one, I would consider subscribing. We really appreciate it. Thanks for watching. We will see you on the next one. And as always, take care of your fellow gamers.